Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to Classic Advice. My name is Scarlett Classic. I'm so happy you could join me again today. Or maybe you're here for the first time. I don't know. Well, welcome anyways. I have a special shout out to a new listener. I heard, Jen, that you were listening. So hello, Jennifer. I hope you and Dave enjoyed the eclipse today. Over here in Alberta, it was like, I don't know. Unless you were actually looking at the sun for it, which I couldn't do because I was at this poetry reading, reciting thing that my grade oneer son had today while it was happening, so I didn't really get to see it, but I'm looking forward to going on TikTok later because I know that there's going to be a ton of photos and videos of the eclipse on there. So yeah, that will be. I'll see it virtually, but over in Niagara, where you and Dave are, I believe you guys got the full couple minutes of the moon blocking the sun, so that would have been pretty cool, I think, having the full view of the eclipse like that. So yeah, can't wait to hear all about it. Anyways, let's get right into our episode. Today, I thought we would talk about battling loneliness and how I battled with it and what I did to cope and deal with it. So, some of the things that I thought we would touch on in this episode was that knowing that you're not the only one that goes through it, and do some things that can boost your self-esteem. Next is get busy. Get a hobby. That can help with getting busy if you have cleaned your house and it's spotless, which mine I don't think will ever reach that point. Kids just kind of ruin that. If you have kids or you're thinking about having kids and your house cleanliness is like really important to you, then just, yeah, maybe don't. But anyways, learn to enjoy your own company. This takes time. And this next one and last one is not for everyone. I realize that, but it really helped me, is get a pet. The first one, know that everyone goes through this. Everybody. I firmly believe this, that I don't care if you are the most popular movie star or you are the, I don't know, royalty somewhere. I'm sure that even they deal with it. And knowing that you're not alone going through something is, it's just so, I don't know, it's a weird sort of comfort, right? To just know that, okay, I'm not the only one that's dealing with this. I'm not crazy for feeling this way because other people are going through it too. And it's not like you're doing something wrong and this is the universe punishing you or something like that. Like, no, it's everybody goes through this, love. Everybody. So you're not alone. If you're feeling lonely, I want to give you a special shout out just for you. I'm here for you. I have said this many times and I will say it again. Shoot me an email. Tell me you're lonely. And then you can leave it at that and then tell me how your day went. And we can talk about something completely different other than just the loneliness, unless you want to talk about it. And I'll write you back. And like I said, it's just little old me over here. I do not have a team of 50. It is me, my headset, and my laptop, and that's it. So I will gladly write you back, and it will be me, Scarlett, will write you back, and you'll be talking to me, okay? Not just somebody else behind the screen. If I can help in that way for you, I will definitely do that, because I know what it was like for me to feel absolutely and utterly alone. And that is painful, right? That emotional pain is hard to deal with because you can't just put a Band-Aid on it. Stitch yourself up. harder to deal with. It is my goal with this podcast to be there for you and to help you along, because a lot of my emotional pain and trauma I went through alone because I didn't have anyone. And with this podcast, I want to be there, even if it's just one person. I'm fine with that. I don't have a big following. I see my list of plays is growing, which is woohoo, and I'm celebrating that. But even if it was just you listening. All right. So boost your self-esteem. And this can be tricky, especially if we're in the mindset of continually talking negatively to ourselves, which our brains are not nice to ourselves. We can be the meanest person to ourselves, right? The way that we talk to ourselves can be very harsh and very cruel. So training yourself to not do that will take time, but something that you could do, and you don't necessarily need to do this in a journal or physically write it down. You know, if you're driving down the road listening to this or whatever, or going for a walk, you could just go through in your mind the things that you like about yourself. For example, for me, something that I like about myself is that, well, it's kind of a like and a dislike. I'm a type A personality. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's like I'm a go, 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 go person. And I take on and put more and more and more on my plate until I crash. And then I take things off of my plate. And then I get bored. So then I put more things on my plate until my plate is overheaping. And then I crash again. And then I'll just repeat that cycle over and over again, which is... it's not, I'm trying to learn to not do that to myself anymore, and learning how to relax and just take it easy. But it's hard for me to sit and take it easy. So I'm learning. But one thing that I like about the fact that I'm a type A personality, part of that is that I love trying new things, and I will try and give things a good try before I say, okay, no, this isn't working for me, and I will put it down and do something else. So, for example, I decided that I wanted to raise and breed and sell and butcher for myself meat rabbits and pet rabbits. Obviously, I didn't butcher the pet rabbits. They were obviously just pets. But I would butcher and we would eat our meat rabbits. And I did that I started right before COVID. I actually bought a pet rabbit. And then I was like, oh, she's so sweet. And I just love having her around. And then COVID hit and I was bored. So, because I got laid off from my one job, and I was jobless for about 3 months, which is not as long as most people. My husband was laid off for like 6 months before he went back to work, but yeah, so I was twiddling my thumbs at home, not knowing what to do with myself, and I was like, well, why don't I start breeding meat rabbits? And then we can either sell them or we'll just eat them. And then as I was doing that, I was like, well, I want to make use of the entire animal. So I learned how to do the hides, and I learned how to do the rabbit feet for like keychains and the tails and all that fun stuff. And then I ended up doing a moose hide. My husband's a hunter and he got a moose the one year. So I did the moose hide. Actually, moose hide that's on my walls is actually my brother's moose. But anyways, I did the moose hide. And I don't necessarily want to make more hides, but I learned a new skill, and maybe one day I'll pick it up again and do some more. But I gave it a good try before I said, okay, I think I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't do it to make money, but it would have been nice it would have been nice as a side hustle if I made, some money. But no, I just broke even, which at least I broke even, so I'm happy about that. The self-esteem thing. So that is something that I like about myself, that I'm not scared to try new things, and I will give it a good try. My rabbits, I gave a good 3 years of my life to it, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going to do this anymore. Let's move on to the next new fun thing, right? I mean, I wouldn't call it a fail because I learned a lot from it. But even if I do fail, say at podcasting, that's okay with me. I gave it my all. I am giving it my all, and I am doing my best. And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay. I'm okay with that. It's actually, doing this podcast is helping me too, because it's making me think about my mental health. It's making me think about my self-esteem. It's making me think about things that I like about myself, which if I wasn't doing this right now, I probably would be doing something else, not thinking about any of this stuff. So one of the reasons why I started was because, like, my first episode was about anger management. I felt myself getting angry and more angry, and I was like, good grief, I know how to deal with this. Why am I not practicing the things that I know? And having a podcast is making me think about all of these things, and it's making me a better person. So when you are thinking about the things that you like about yourself, it will boost your self-esteem, because you're like, oh yeah, look at all these things that I like. I'm good. I'm a good person, and all that fun stuff. So that's one thing you can do to help boost your self-esteem. The next thing I wanted to talk about is do something and get busy. Don't have idle hands. This is a good one, because I find when obviously, if you need to process your emotions and you need to be sad, then go do that. But try not to let it ruin your whole day. Depending on the gravity of the thing that happened, which I've mentioned before, right? Like, if you have your spouse or, say, a family member die, that's pretty big. So let yourself grieve, by all means. So if it's not related to something really big like that, if you're grieving your spouse and that's why you're lonely, then obviously that is something else. But try to keep yourself busy. And this will help occupy your mind and keep your mind busy. For me, for example, when I sweep and mop my house, or I just do random little tedious jobs like folding laundry, I will listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to music. And that helps take my mind off of everything else going on up there. And it gives me something else to think about. And I'm not thinking about being lonely, because I'm thinking about what so-and-so is saying in their podcast, or I'm thinking about the song and I'm singing along, and yada, yada, yada. That can be one tool that you use, which obviously if you're listening to me right now, you are doing that right now. But yeah, if you're finding yourself getting hard to get out of that rut of that, listen to a podcast or listen to whatever, right? So do something. And the next thing leads right into that is getting a hobby. If you don't have a hobby, get one. And this is really, really great, because a lot of hobbies, there'll be other people that like the same hobbies as you. So, for example, I used to have a horse, and I would take it out, go trail riding and stuff. And there's these groups on Facebook, which Facebook is really, really great for this kind of thing. So if you don't have Facebook, you could sign up for it, which is completely free, and just do it for the groups. Like, I don't post a lot of personal stuff on Facebook myself, but there are some groups on there that I am a part of just for the group part, like my podcast group. So if you want to join that, by all means, come join me. But you can go on there, and for like when I had my horse, I would go on and I found a group that would people that would take their horses out on these trails. So you could post on there, hey, I'm from wherever, Alberta. I'm going to the Fort Assiniboine trails this Saturday, planning on being there for noon. Is anybody else going? Would you like to ride together? Or wherever, right? And then you're riding with somebody else instead of going by yourself, which is great. And you get to meet more people that like the same things that you do. For breeding rabbits, you can take your rabbits to rabbit shows, even if you never win. Who cares? I never did that because that just wasn't my thing, and I was busy enough as it is. I didn't need to throw showing my rabbits into the mix. And they were just meat rabbits. And the pet rabbits weren't like anything really fancy or special. They were just cute. So I never did that, but you can do that. And then you meet more people that love the same things that you do, and you'll make new friends. It might take you a while to a couple of tries of going out and doing it a few times before you find that person that you click with, right? But give it a good shot, and you never know. Maybe you'll meet your new best friend. For me, for podcasting, I'm already meeting new people that love podcasting and have a podcast, and it's great. And if you have a podcast and you're listening to this, please shoot me an email and tell me about your podcast. I would love to go listen to it and support your show. So the other thing is learn to enjoy your own company. And I don't know if this is just me getting older or what. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. But I find that I enjoy my own company, and I'm perfectly content to just be by myself. Don't get me wrong, I do love hanging out with people. I was born an extrovert, and I would be absolutely devastated when my friends would go home after a play date. Oh my God. I remember those days. I was just so devastated. Yeah, it was hard for me. I was such a little social butterfly back in the day. And I don't know if it was from the trauma that I experienced. I know I have trust issues. When people are nice to me, I'm like, why? Why are you being nice to me? I'm not used to this feeling. So maybe it has something to do with that. But I do enjoy my own company, and it makes, like, I don't get as lonely as often anymore now than I did before. And being content to be by yourself. So having that hobby will definitely help. If you can have fun doing your hobby, like for me, I recently picked up the hobby of building adult Lego sets, and they are absolutely amazing. I buy mine off of Amazon. They're the brand Fun Whole, so FUNWHOLE. And no, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by anybody. So anything you hear me suggest is just for you. I don't get anything. They're great. They're just like Lego pieces, but it's not a little. It's a lot cheaper than the actual Lego sets because you're paying for the Lego brand. But they're great. They have stickers that you put on to make it look really cool. They have lights that you wire in as you build, and then they look so amazing when they're done. They are a super great hobby because it's just, it's so much fun. So if you're looking for a hobby and you don't know what to do, and you loved building Lego sets as a kid, you will probably like these. And there's way more brands than just Funhole. There's another brand from Asia somewhere. My husband bought me the Black Pearl ship, and it's like gigantically huge. So I need to build myself some shelves or something to have them on display because that'll be really cool. But that's something that I do, and I'm perfectly content. I put a podcast on, or I listen to some music, or I do it while I'm watching TV because I can't just sit and watch TV because that's boring to me. I need to do something while I watch TV, whether it's knit, crochet, build Lego, or something. I just can't just sit and watch TV. I don't know how you guys do it. But anyways, so yeah, get yourself a hobby. Find something that you like to do. Go on Amazon and look it up. There's so many crafty things that you can do these days. My husband likes fixing vehicles and working on vehicles, and so he does that. And yeah, read a book, write a book, whatever you want to do. Anyway, so moving on. The last thing is get a pet. Now, I realize this isn't going to be for everybody, and not everybody likes pets. And they are expensive, so please, 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 please really think about this before you actually go and get one. Figure out your budget first, because for me, I have dogs and they're expensive. So if finances, because you got to factor in vet visits, food, and the bigger the dog you have, the more food it's going to eat, so the more expensive it's going to be to feed, right? And toys and leashes and what have you, right? But there are cheaper pets out there, right? Like you've got hamsters and gerbils and rabbits and birds that maybe don't, or cats that you can leave at home. And, cats really don't care if you're around or not. I mean, they love you. I have mouser cats that absolutely are very, very lovey-dovey. I'm not saying that cats can't show affection, but they also will be fine if you leave for the weekend and leave them behind. Whereas a dog, you need to think about that. If you like to travel, you might not be able to travel if you have a dog, or you have to put it in a kennel so that you can go travel. So just things to keep in mind, because a lot of dogs end up in shelters because people don't realize how much it is to look after them. So I'm just throwing that out there. I know this isn't for everybody, but if this is you, that you love animals, they are a great, great, wonderful thing to have around. And my husband works a lot. My kids aren't necessarily always with me because, well, my one will go visit his dad, or they go to the grandparents, or what have you. So I don't always have my kids around to keep me company. And my husband, like I mentioned before, works very long hours. Also, sometimes works weekends once the plant is up and running and stuff. I'm quite often by myself, even on my days off. So I need to find something to do with myself and enjoy myself and have a good time by myself. And having a dog to do it with me is just so priceless. I grew up with a dog, and there was only a couple years in my life where I went without having a dog because I was a single mother and I couldn't afford it. Plain and simple. And it was a really, really tough time for me because I really missed having a dog. But at that point in my life, it just wasn't feasible. So if that is you right now and you're really struggling because you don't have your fur baby to keep you company, hang in there, love. Hang in there, because there will come a time when you can't afford it. Just save up for it. Get yourself set up. And if you want it, you will make it happen. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. If that is you right now, I've been there. And I know it's hard not having your fur baby around, but they are just they love you unconditionally. My dogs are always so ecstatic to see me. And they will never wake up one day and say, oh, I don't love you anymore. See ya. A dog will never do that to you. A dog will never, ever do that to you. They will love you, love you, love you, love you. So, and it's just great to have that unconditional love and friendship. And they're just, there's something else, aren't they? Those of you who have dogs know exactly what I'm talking about. They are something really special. And I love my fur babies. And in the afternoons when I come home from work, typically I hang out with the dogs outside and they run around, or I'll take them for a walk. And it's time spent with them, time spent with my kids, and we're just all together, and it's great. And I love it. And they're so goofy, running around and tackling each other and being goofballs. One is a real water dog, and just like, well, and he's big, so he like puts his face in the even in the house, which is kind of annoying, but he'll put his face in the kiddie pool or the water dish and get a whole mouthful and just like spit it out everywhere. Which, yeah, isn't ideal in the house, but it's really funny when he does it outside. Just how much fun he's having with just water. It's hilarious. So yeah, they're great animals, and I really love them. And it also, because I do a lot of hiking by myself, or just me and the kids in the Alberta wild, where there's cougars and bears and all sorts of crazy wolves and all sorts of predators out there. It's a nice sense of security for me as well, that I have my buddy with me, that I'm not alone walking through the woods. So yeah, there's that. So that's really all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you have a awesome rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you want to come on my show as a guest because you have that one thing, or maybe multiple things, if you want to come on multiple times, I am very open to that. Please, let's share your advice to everyone. That thing that, had you known earlier in life as a young teen, or as a young parent, or as a young adult, or as whatever, that would have made your life easier had you known that. Or if you were really struggling with something, like how I talked about anger management, or this loneliness, that you struggled with something and you learn how to deal with it, and you learn how to get over it, and you learn how to conquer it. What's that thing? Do you want to come on my show? Do you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. I would love to have you on my show. Email me. ClassicAdvicePodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. So that is it. It's a wrap. We will see you guys next week. Spring is on its way. I'm very excited about that. If you can't tell by my voice. Until next time, guys, take care. Thanks again for listening. Bye.